Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Hendy, the Android Authority App Guy. After the intro, we're going to show you the best apps for March 2013. First on our list is a game called 10 Million. This game is a mashup of dungeon crawling RPG goodness mixed with a puzzle game. For the premise, you are a guy who is trapped in a broken down castle and you must fix the castle and escape. You accomplish this feat by dungeon crawling. During a dungeon crawl, you slide icons across a board until you hit at least 3 of a kind. Depending on which icons you match up, certain things will happen. You reach freedom when you hit 10 million overall points. This game is not only really fun and addictive, but it's also pretty challenging once you get to higher levels. So if you're into puzzle games that are actually difficult to play, this one is really good. Next up is Armor for Android. This application has so many uses that it's unfair to classify it one way or another. So if you're one of those paranoid people who need their Android devices to wear tinfoil hats, then Armor for Android is for you. The app triples, that's right, I said triples, as a task manager, antivirus app, and permission manager. Using these tools you can make your Android device squeaky clean and keep it that way. Wrapping up all these features is a clean, easy-to-use interface that even beginners can understand. Despite an overwhelmingly negative reception by critics, the Alien vs. Predator series continues to thrive, and now it has a game on Android. Much like the movies, the application has been very popular despite less than shining reviews from critics. The game features a hack-and-slash style gameplay along with some pretty impressive graphics. Like the movies, there isn't much of a storyline, but let's face it, we only subject ourselves to this to watch the monsters duke it out. With some special skills like the cloaking and predator vision included, gamers can enjoy this monster brawl firsthand. Chameleon Launcher has been around for quite a while, but only for tablets that run Android. Recently, the app was retooled and re-released to be compatible with phones as well. Despite its new functionality, Chameleon Launcher remains one of the most unique custom launchers on Android. So far, it's been quite popular, even if its users have been a little critical. The developers are working on Chameleon Launcher widgets, and people can actually create their own if they go to the official website. It's smooth on most devices, it looks good, and there's a huge potential for customization. If you've owned an iPhone in the last few years, then you've no doubt heard of Doodle Jump. The immensely popular iOS game has finally made its way to Android, and already several million people have downloaded it. The graphics, the gameplay, and pretty much everything else is on par with the iOS version, so Android fans won't be missing out. Much like the iOS version, you play as a little thing that jumps up ledges for all eternity. You can use items like trampolines, jetpacks, and spinny hats to propel yourself upward, and you can tap the screen to shoot at bad guys. It's an addicting little game that's perfect for killing a few minutes. If you're a fan of our review videos, then you've seen our take on Google Keep already. It's the latest app to be pumped out of Mountain View and perfect for the casual note-taker who doesn't need all the bells and whistles of more complicated note-taking applications. Even though some bloggers used Google Keep as a whipping boy to express their unhappiness over the whole Google Reader debacle, many people chose to ignore them and enjoy Google Keep anyway. This is great because it really is a rock-solid application. You can take notes a number of different ways, and they're not only stored on your mobile device, but also online at drive.google.com/keep. Next up is a fun little puzzle game that has gained a great deal of popularity in a short time. It's called Icomania, and the premise is simple. The app will show you a picture of something and you have to guess what it is. It's kinda like a one-sided version of Draw Something. We never did stumble across any pictures that were overly difficult to guess, but as the game progresses, so does the difficulty. So if you're into brain teasers, Icomania is worth checking out. Real-time strategy games are pretty complex these days. Our next app, Ninja Village, is an RTS game that keeps both the gameplay and the graphics simple. The premise is you're a ninja running a ninja village that helps unify the country by taking down the bad guys. Ninja Village is refreshingly addictive if you're into real-time strategy games. You raise your village with workers and shops, which then gives you the resources to raise an army which you then use to take down rival armies. The game is officially over after 16 hours, but you can keep on playing until you feel like starting over if you want to. Imagining life without Photoshop is difficult for some people. Whether it's being used for hobby or professionally, Photoshop is ingrained into many people's lives. Adobe seems to have realized that something like this could be useful on an Android device, and thus Photoshop Touch was born. Unfortunately, this version is scaled back a lot from the desktop version, but there is still enough there to deem Photoshop Touch genuinely useful. Like its desktop sibling, there is definitely a learning curve. Once you find your way around though, this app is more than adequate for most hobbyists and many professional uses. Simply put, people go nuts for Pokemon. It carries almost as much popularity online as cats do, and the TV show and video games are among the most popular in their respective genres. If you're a fan of the show, you'll get a kick out of our next app called Pokemon TV. This app is pretty simple. It's a video streaming app where you can watch random episodes of Pokemon straight from your phone. It covers a lot of episodes from various storylines, and the available episodes seem to be randomized daily. Pokemon TV is an app that no Pokemon fan should be without. Rivals at War is a type of card game that has some real-time strategy elements. You buy and collect cards with either in-game money or real money, and use those cards in combat to battle other people. It's important to note that this game is 100% online multiplayer. Rivals at War War differs from typical card games in one key aspect. Instead of playing with the cards, there are soldiers that are used as representations of the cards. The soldiers on either side then simulate a real battle based on the cards you used at the beginning of the game. The graphics are really good for an Android game, and it is a unique experience. There are a lot of System Monitor apps out there, but that doesn't mean there is no room for improvement. This System Monitor app, plainly named System Monitor, can be considered an improvement over many similar apps in the Play Store and is good enough to compete with the best. While it is a simple application, it has a lot of features. It comes with widgets, you can create floating windows, you can put it in your notification bar, or you can just open the app and look, and measure CPU, RAM, network, and disk input-output, and you can create all of the above with any of this info. Overall, it's a really solid offering. It should be of no surprise to anyone that when a Temple Run game gets released, that it makes the best apps of the month. Temple Run in general is hugely popular, and its latest release, called Temple Run Oz, is no exception. As with the other Temple Run games, you can expect the same sort of fast-paced gameplay where you jump, slide, and tilt your way around levels, all the while you're being chased by spear-wielding flying monkeys, which is where the Oz part comes in. In general, there is no significant difference between it and other Temple Run games, but it's still a blast to play. If you've been looking for a substitute to Angry Birds, then Toy Story Smash It may be for you. This game was developed by Disney, and it puts you back in the only world where Randy Newton's music is tolerable. The premise is that the evil Emperor Zurg, sworn enemy of the Galactic Alliance, has come back and he must be stopped. The gameplay is very similar to Angry Birds. The little aliens sit on top of various structures made out of various things, and Buzz Lightyear gets to throw balls at them. As always, the fewer shots it takes to win, the higher the score you get. Unlike Angry Birds, this is a 3D game, so you can move side to side and take shots from different angles. If you're a big fan of Angry Birds, then we think you'll at least enjoy Toy Story Smash It. Last on our list is a parkour game called Vector. Widely hailed as one of the best free runner games out there, Vector is a unique game with a simple premise and simple controls that is oddly fun to play despite its simplistic graphics. In the game, you use a series of swipes to navigate levels. As you progress, new levels and tricks are learned, which makes the experience all the more fun to watch. Some have complained that you have to grind a little bit to get new tricks, however, thanks to the quick gameplay, this didn't seem like a big deal to us. If you take a look at our free apps leaderboard, you can see how these free apps stack up against one another. As usual, there is no bias on our part because these are arranged based on how you, the people, rated them in the Google Play Store. In our other leaderboard, you can see how the paid apps stacked up this month. Some of these apps were ranked as high as 4.9 in the Google Play Store at the time of this video, which is truly impressive. Once again, I'm Joe Hindy, the Android Authority app guy. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel or check out the app links and our social media links in the video description.